to me, come to me tonight, come to me, come to me tonight, come to me, come to me tonight, come to me.
Okay, so now to make the buttonholes. So have you all been following me all this time on making shirts, the progress of them? I hope I inspired a lot of you out there to make your own shirts or clothing for the man in your life or for you if you're a man. Okay, now here's the deal. Alright, so I went and pre-marked all my buttonholes, and I have blue chalk. I have a template that I do that on. And then to put this on here to make sure it's even, see here's the placket, okay? And to put this on here to make sure it's even, I'm going to line the edge of this placket up with the 1-inch line on my throat plate. A lot of people ask me where I get this template to stick on here. My local baby lock dealer had carried them, and you can get them online too. Just look up seam measuring guide stick-on template online. Do a Google search. I'm sure you'll find it. You gotta do a little research and look it up, but it's out there. Okay, so now my blue line that I drew, I'm going to line it up right with the opening there and make sure that the side here is on the 1-inch mark. Now, if you do that all the way up, you'll have even buttonholes. That's the whole trick, okay? So let's make sure we do this, and here we go. Let me just get that one piece of thread out of there. There we go. See, it cuts it all on its own and everything. Okay, so now I'm going to move to the next buttonhole. Line it up on the 1-inch mark. Isn't that fun? See how easy it is to make buttonholes? There we go. And that's how it's done all the way up. And then you do the cuffs, you sew on the cuffs and the collar, and that's it. This is how easy it is to put buttonholes on. It's a little time consuming. You know, this is a home domestic machine. Your industrial buttonhole machines, and it's done. But I'm not in production of making shirts for a living, where I have a big factory making shirts. I have a factory making handbags. So this is for my own personal use. I decided it was time for me to start making stuff for me now. A little break between the bags and that. You know, sewing should be fun, but you have to be diversified if you want to keep your interest in it. And if it's a passion, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to do it. You're going to sew no matter what it is. Okay? So that's how it's done. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I want to show you all a little trick. Now, some of you old veterans probably already know this, but the young rookies probably don't. Now, there's a little gauge here that you can buy online from Notions places, and when you run this gauge across out like this, it gives you even spacing for buttonholes. So it's like a little accordion. And I know places online like Nancy's Notions carry this. It's a buttons accordion. I don't know what the exact name of it is. I got this a long time ago, but just go look at buttonhole making on any Notion site. Okay, this is a chisel. This is a chisel. This is a half-inch chisel. Block of wood. Oh, this still has a nail in it. Here's what you're going to do. After you make your buttonholes, you're going to take your chisel. Let me see if I can zoom this down. There you go. I went to zoom and I hit shut off. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom this down here a little bit for you. Okay, there you go. Alright, so here's where the buttonhole is, right? Take your chisel, lay it in there, and rock it. And guess what? You got your hole now. See that? See how much easier that is? In the old days, they taught us old-timers. I'll show you what they taught us. They taught us to take... here, I'll show you what they taught us in the old days. They taught us to put a pin here like this. And then take your seam ripper and put it in and push it to the pin. Well, you know what? A lot of people were afraid to do that. And this is so much faster and easier. Watch. Take the chisel, put it inside the buttonhole, rock it, and there you got your hole. Isn't that easy? Okay, so for all the rookies out there, if you didn't know this, now you do. For all the old timers out there, you should already know this if you've been watching all those sewing shows all these years and reading magazines and all that stuff. But if you didn't know, now you do. Alright, let's sew some buttons on. Page 2, automatic sew on, and the feed dogs dropped automatically on this machine. This is the Baby Lock Aspire. Okay, we got two different kinds of buttonhole feet. This is a standard traditional buttonhole foot that you'll see on many sewing machines. Janome has one like this. This is Brother Baby Lock. And what you do is you'll put this one down, connect it, and then you have your button that sews over that, goes back and forth, and it just sews your button on. It holds your button in place. And that's the one I'm going to use, but there's another one that if you're going to sew and you want to shank, if you need a buttonhole that's got a shank, you put this in, and there's a lever here, you push that forward, and what that does, it pushes forward this little finger, and when it sews over back and forth, it causes a shank because it's sewing over that finger, so you have extra room for a shank. That's great for when you're making buttons for coats and heavier items. But like I said, today I'm going to be just using this foot here. You know, I love sewing. It's a passion. I have so many things I love to do in my life. Sewing, I love doing hair, I love my photography, I love my music, I love, you name it. I just love it. I wish people who weren't creative would take up something, because it sure beats the time. I wish all those people who have drug addictions and alcoholism would take up something creative. And you know what? You know what they say? It just takes the right teacher. All right, so anyway, here's a button. Now, traditionally, when you try to put that button on and put it over here, it always slips on you and everything. Well, here's the trick. Scotch tape. Okay? For all you oldies, veterans, I'm going to call us guys, people my age, I'm going to call us old veterans, okay? All right, I'm going to call us old veterans. And for the new people, I'm going to call you all rookies. When I worked at McDonald's, that's what they called us, rookies, when we were new. And that was in high school. I'll never forget that. This is how the rookies are in today. Alright, so then what you want to do is line that up and use the flywheel. Do this by hand first. Yep, there we go. And then let her rip. Oh, I gotta lift my button foot lever up. Okay, there we go. And I like to go over it twice. See, it does it once, but I like to go over it twice. Let me do it again. And I'm going to shut my automatic scissor cutter off because I'm going over this twice and I don't want it cutting each time, as it just did. So now I know that that's going to work because I have it lined up and you get used to it, but always do it by flywheel if you're not sure in the beginning. Alright? And that thread is not in that. There we go. Oh, bring it in there. Make sure that thread is in there, right? Bring this needle up. Thread's not in the lever up here properly. Come on. There we go. Got it in there. All right, let's line this back up again. See, now that was operator error because the thread. This is what I talk about when I write on your groups. I say, is it operator error or is it really the machine? See, the thread wasn't in the bar up here above the needle, and that could cause problems down when you're sewing. So all these little things make a big difference, everybody. Remember that. So when I talk to you on Facebook and stuff, and I say, is it operator error or is it really the machine? Don't take offense to it. It's to make your ears pop up and say, oh, I better go troubleshoot and make sure everything's okay. And keep your eyes open. All right, so here we go again. And then my second time. And now I'm going to cut the thread. Okay? Now, I know there's something, let's see this thread, I'm going to cut that excess off there. All right. Okay, now, let's do it one more time. Even though I know, see, you guys make me laugh because a lot of you will ask me questions in videos that I've already answered and I've already talked about, and you'll ask me, you'll say, oh, what was that product again? And I'm like, do you know you can rewind the video? I mean, this is the comedy hour now. Did you know you can rewind the video and listen to it again instead of writing posting a comment saying, what did he say? What did you say the name of that was again? And don't forget, look in the description box under the video on YouTube for extra information. Okay? All right. So anyway, so there, piece of Scotch tape. Put it where you marked your buttonhole. Tape it down. Line it up with the edge here like we did before. Okay? Make sure you got that buttonhole there. And that one's just a little bit off, so I gotta move it. I move it just a bit. This is what's nice about the Scotch tape. It's repositionable and it stays right where you put it. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful now. Let's see here. Okay, I can live with that one. Okay, that was twice. Scissor button. Move to the next one. And there it is. One more time. Scissor. And that's what you do. And like what I told everybody before, I says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make all these shirts and then I'm going to have a marathon sitting one afternoon and just put all the buttons on. And that's what I did. That's what I did. So you just have a little afternoon. You know what? You know when it's a good time to do all the buttons? On a rainy day. Now here, see how easy the Scotch tape comes off? And it's perforated, so it just peels right off of the thread there. And there you go. You've got your button now. You see that? How easy was that? Okay, I know that's going to help you.
Come to me tonight. Come to me.
Okay, here's a bonus tip I want to share with you all. Now, for the hemming on the bottom, if you don't want to use a rolled hem foot to do this, there's another alternative way. This is perfectly acceptable, especially if you have a serger. Go ahead and serge the edge of your hemming, okay? Serge the edge. And then, remember in the couple videos back, I did a glue stick video? Okay, take your glue stick, run it along the edge. And what I like to do here is I like to do like a 45-degree angle first. See how nice that's stuck down? Isn't that nice? And then fold this over right a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch over beyond the stitch line of the serger stitch line. Okay, fold that over like that. See how nice that's working? See how beautiful that's going to be? Then get your iron. See, that's gonna, it's like pinning it in place. Just like pinning it in place. And then when you go to sew that down, it's not gonna move on you. Isn't that nice? Oh, got my shirt caught on my foot. Hold on. Okay, there we go. one of the best things, I'm gonna iron this first before I glue it. One of the nice things about sewing is that when you learn all these little tips and tricks, it makes sewing so much easier and more understandable. And it makes you want to sew, especially newbies. You know, I'm sure many of you, and I've talked about this myself, when I first wanted to learn how to sew, I was 21 years old, and my roommate's mother was trying to teach me. She wasn't really a mechanical teacher, and the machine was giving me problems sewing over thick velour because I wanted to make a bathrobe. So bottom line was I got frustrated and put on the side. I was not very mechanically inclined back then, and I was young, hung, you know, one of those, the old saying about being young and, you know, being stupid and foolish and too much, not having patience. So what happened was I put it away until many years later when I built my brand new home in Florida, and that's when I decided to pull the machine out and start learning again.
Come to me. Come to me tonight.
Okay, for anyone who has problems sewing straight, this is, there's many uses for this foot. It's an edge sewing foot. They call it a blind hem foot. And what it does is this little plastic guide moves back and forth by turning this screw. So what I've got is my straight stitch center needle position, and my stitch length is going to be a 3.5. I want a little longer stitch length because I'm going to go over some bulky seams also, and anytime you're going over something bulkier you want a heavier stitch length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this down, and then I'm going to back stitch here to lock the thread. Actually, it's a locking stitch. Okay, and then we're going to sew forward. Okay, let me hit my pivot position. Okay, see how, watch. See how nice I got that perfect now? Okay, so all you're going to do is, and the reason why you're doing it from the top is so it gives it a little ease underneath. So it'll ease it. Remember, the feed dogs underneath will ease the bottom in a little bit for you, so it cups it. It'll cup the fabric, and the fabric will not flare out. If you sew it on this side, if you sew it from this side, the top will flare out. This is going to allow it to cup in like this and lay nice. Okay? So this is what you're going to do. So all we're doing is top stitching. You see how nice that is? I'll make sure you can see that. Actually, I want this to stay down. I don't want that to pivot. I'll just keep that on. Okay, there we go. And because we ironed and glued the underneath down, we're not having any problems. Now look at here. You have to go with the way the fabric curves, okay? And this is a big shirt that I've got here, so I've got to move it around. And I have my flatbed extension table. See, can you imagine if I didn't have the extension table, how this would be hanging off the side? Let me see if I could turn this and show you. You see all this fabric here? That would be hanging off the side if I didn't have my extension table, which I know a lot of teachers don't encourage or teach or show in classrooms, which I appreciate those who do. Okay, so see how this is curved here? We've got a curve. You want to follow that curve. That's why you want to move this. You don't want to distort it like that when you sew. You want to make sure that you follow this curve. Let me see if I can zoom this out a little bit here for you to see that better. There we go. Okay, so. And then here's a seam, a thicker seam. And because it's a longer stitch length, it's not going to get hung up. See how nice? Okay, follow the curve. Lay that fabric down and follow the curve. Don't be afraid to use your hand like a fan. Okay? And make sure you think ahead. Look ahead here. Look ahead at the fabric. Look ahead of you and see what's coming up. You see I've got a curve coming up here. Let me zoom this back some more. I've got a curve coming up here, okay? So I want to anticipate that and curve as I'm sewing. See, all these little details in sewing make a big difference. Big difference. And you sit there and wonder why your fabric doesn't lay properly, or why things don't look like they should, professional like they should. All these little tricks are very important to learn. I remember in the early 90s when I was learning how to sew, I was looking at the back of every sewing magazine and buying all those professional videos on how to sew professionally, how to get industrial sewing results. I was doing all that, then I was watching PBS and Sewing with Nancy, and I was buying all of Nancy's videos and books and everything else I can get a hold of, and then, after watching all these women on TV and videos, then this gentleman comes along named Kenneth King, who was on a sewing program called Sewing Today. And oh, by the way, shout out to Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth. He's my friend today. And who would ever thought I would have been friends with Kenneth after all those years? Phenomenal sewer. You get a chance to see him in class, ladies and gentlemen. Spend your hard-earned money to go see him. Save your money to go see him. That's a professional. Okay, now I'm going to lock this in place here. Cut the thread. And there's my hem. Isn't that beautiful? Now let me zoom that in for you. Let me get behind the camera now and zoom that in so you can see it. There it is. There it is. See how nice that lays? Isn't that beautiful? That's a trick. I hope it helps you.
Come to me. Come to me tonight. Come to me.
Okay, there she is. I should say there he is. Look how nice it came out. So I hope the tips that I gave you will help you in your process of shirt making. Collar. Cuff. There it is. There it is, my friends. I hope everything I'm doing is going to encourage you to get back to making some garments for yourself. You know that old saying I have, if a 10-year-old in Bangladesh can make your clothes, why can't you in the USA? You got a sewing machine. Let's do it. Okay, everybody, you take care and go shop for some fabric and make yourself some clothes. Start with something small and grow from there. All right, talk to you all later. Bye-bye.
Come to me. Come to me tonight. Come to me. Come to me tonight. Come to me